Warriors, this is your weekly warrior wrap up. Let's get to it. I'm going to an event tonight and it's wear pink and white. That's why you're seeing me in pink and white. I'm usually in grays and blacks and variations thereof. But it's very important now that we're open here in New York to get out to as many events, anything I'm invited to, because I have one purpose, one goal. And warriors, that is to talk about human trafficking, sexual exploitation, and protecting our children. Let me tell you about a couple of things that are happening this week. First and foremost, the FBI put out a warning that boys, as of this week, are being specifically targeted. And let me tell you why that is. Boys fly under the radar with sex trafficking, exploitation. They do not come forward. They are embarrassed. And it seems like nobody really talks about them, but there are plenty of boys that are trafficked, sexually exploited. The other reason is the predators have figured out that this is an easy target because the boys aren't coming forward, youth, young men, whatever age category. So let's now go into this market and let's just start pushing really, really hard. And one of their favorite places to go is the gaming apps. So, warriors, I urge all of you with children, grandchildren, to be very careful. Talk to your kids, as always, and know what apps they are using, who they are friends with on those apps. Don't let it be a wide open public audience. I'm begging you, because the information coming to me every single day is overwhelming, increasing, and I don't see anybody doing anything about it. And that is why I formed the Warriors, so that at a grassroots level in our own homes and communities, we can strengthen, help each other, and hopefully intervene and not let your child or grandchild be the next victim. So that's one thing. And the way they're doing it is with this sextortion. Now, sextortion means an adult behind the scenes, usually the child or teen, thinks it's another kid their age, but the adult approaches a child with sexual images, sexual dialogue, or asking for anything of a sexual nature. And the kids are falling for this within 48 hours. Those are the studies we have, 48 hours, warriors. So this is an urgent crisis, okay? And what they do is they just befriend that child, and maybe they're playing a game online. And eventually it leads to, for a girl, you are so pretty, or a boy. So let's stick with the boys since that's the FBI warning. You're so handsome, attractive, whatever they might say, wielding them in, making them feel special. And then eventually they move in for the kill, which is, send me your full body image or something to that effect. And you know where I'm going with this, warriors. And the children comply. We know that 40%, that's what we know. So this number is higher, are giving strangers their images in the age ranges of 9 to 17. That is 40% that we know about. So it's higher. Complete strangers. They're growing up in a culture and an environment where it's just normal to exchange nude images. As a matter of fact, a couple of women I was talking to, we were discussing this behind the scenes, and they said yes. The girls think nothing of, sending a topless photo, and the boys sending those, well, what we call them, pics, starts with a D. They're just growing up. It's normalized. They're habituated to it. So it's our duty to stop this, to intervene. Okay. So that's number one, this sextortion happening. Watch what your kids are doing online. I talk about that 24/7. You know what to do. You got to talk to the kids. You're probably paying for those devices. Know what's happening on the internet, safety features, safety filters. I'm at the point now. Go bark, BARK.us, bark.us. Bark is a monitoring tool, very nominal fee. First of all, they have a free 1-week trial. So I urge all of you just to try it, make sure you like it. And then the little kids up to ages, I think it's 11, 12, is like $5.99 a month. And then up to, I guess I'll say 17, I think it's $9.99. What it does is it monitors text messages, emails, inappropriate images, and connects to your phone and makes you aware. That's number one. But we know, warriors, that the kids are very savvy. Kids are so smart. That was one. I was having a conversation last night, and somebody said to me, she actually teaches at a school, and she said to me, these kids are so smart. They have burner phones, they have extra phones their parents don't know about. And I'm like, where did they get the money? Because if my child had I don't know, things I didn't recognize. And this is an indicator of anything going on in your household. You know, your child, your teen has any kind of goods, could be from, shoes, handbags, electronics, anything that you didn't pay for. And if they're not working, you better look into it, because the predators are pouncing more than ever. And that brings me to you're going to be on the lookout for the sextortion. Your kids, you're going to beef it up, because I'm telling you, uh, they're winning. I also want to share with you a couple of other things. There is now, we talk a lot about internet safety because that's where it is predominantly happening, this attack on our children. It is so easy for everybody to hide behind computer screens and rope in our vulnerable children. I am urging all of you, just Google it, December 7th, a rare advisory issued on the mental health of our youth prior to COVID and since COVID. That came out on, I'm going to say again, December 7th, 2021, a couple of months back. Nobody really seemed to pick up on it. The Warriors did. It was issued 53-page, I call it a report. They're calling it a rare advisory, our government, by Dr. Vivek H. Murthy, U.S. Surgeon General, all about our kids. They are in a vulnerable state. I don't have to tell you this. Mental health is so important. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. You have some wonderful organizations, NAMI, NAMI.org, National Alliance Mental Illness, chapters all over. You don't have to wait until you get to the point of crisis. You can, if you're curious, and all of you should be, I should say all of us should be, you can Google them. They have NAMI.org, NAMI.org, wonderful resources, wonderful things to read, wonderful tips. It's all free. So why wouldn't you, if you have kids, brush up on it, be aware. And remember, always, even if kids seem fine, you've got to keep an eye on them. I want to share, and it's a long story, but I actually was coming back through the Port Authority here in New York last Friday night. And the bus was having a hard time when it pulled in, circling like where to pull in. Everything was jammed up with police cars, the garage underneath the Port Authority, and other buses. And he kept circling and circling. And finally, he just let everybody off. And we walked in a door, and you had to walk around to take an escalator up to 8th Avenue. And there was a kid dead on the floor of the Port Authority. Now, shocking. It is bothering me. I see that boy's face. I don't know his age. I would say 18 to 22. Jeans and a t-shirt. It looked like he was in one of the chairs and slumped and slid down onto the floor. His head was back against the chair. I will say there were about, in my quick scan, about 30 NYPD emergency people standing around, chatting, talking. And I know he was dead because I heard one of them say it. And all I could think about was, that is somebody's baby. That is somebody's child, a brother, sister. It's the saddest thing. And that, I'm sure, is, I don't know. I just heard one of the police officers say he was dead, and everybody just standing around like, this goes on every couple of minutes. It's just normal here in New York. I would dare to say it's probably overdose fentanyl. And when I was leaving the Port Authority earlier in the day, as I was leaving and boarding the bus, I heard them call into a loudspeaker, ambulance on its way, male in the bathroom, overdose. So we've got so many things happening. We've got to be on the lookout for these drugs as always, but really now, what's going on. And keep an eye on the kids, even if they seem, again, okay. Know what you're doing. Keep handy. Have an action plan. It's 2022. We have to have action plans in our homes just in case, and be prepared. So you know that, right? Warriors action plan. National Suicide Hotline, 888-273-5288. Have it. Put it somewhere in your house, and just keep it there. But I urge all of you to do a little research. And I had a wonderful guest on my radio program this past Wednesday. And Warriors, we got to talk about this again. We have to talk about child marriage in the United States. Now, I know you say in the United States. Yes, until fairly recently, child marriage was allowed in all 50 states. And that was about 5 years ago, 6 years ago. In 6 years or thereabouts, it has now only become illegal in 6 states, 44 to go. Every state has their own rules and regulations and laws. But for instance, a state like California, there's actually no law about it. Conceivably, I'd say rarely, but conceivably, a 50-year-old man could marry a 1-month-old baby. Other states have one parent signs a consent. Other states have a judge can sign off, depending on the family, all kinds of different scenarios going on. There's nothing uniform. But our guest was Dawn Tyree. Dawn became a child bride at age 13 years old in the state of California. Her parents hired a babysitter for her. Seems strange to me, warriors, but this is the story. At 11 years old, they hired a family friend to watch her while they were working. 11 years old. That is when the sexual abuse began. By the age of 13, she found herself pregnant. Her parents, instead of helping her, going to the police, thinking they're going to get in trouble, married her off to this man. By the time she was 14, she was pregnant again. You have to hear the unraveling of Dawn's life. I can say now she is a strong survivor, leader in the movement to end child marriage in the United States. And she will talk to anybody and everybody about it. She's done extensive writing. Her life story was covered in the New York Times. She wrote a wonderful article for Yes Magazine. Please listen to the interview. Go on my Facebook and Twitter, find it. It says Lynn's Warriors Wednesday, Dawn Tyree. Listen to this. It's like 12-minute interview that we did live on Wednesday. And then also follow the links so you can learn more, because it's a very complicated problem that, again, nobody's really talking about in the United States. There are very few organizations even working on it, raising awareness about it. We have right here based out of New Jersey, Unchained at Last, and that website is unchainedatlast.org. I urge all of you, again, do a little research. Also out of California, our good friend Rima Nashashibi, she heads up Global Hope 365. Those are the two major organizations working on this in the United States. But Dawn is so wonderful. And you've got to hear her story. Her children, she had them so young, her children are grown now. And the problems they encountered, from Dawn eventually, looking out a window when she should have been in high school and seeing kids walk by to school. It's a harrowing story, and how she finally escaped with 2 babies and had to run all the way to Alaska. And where do you go? You're a child with two babies, so you don't qualify. You're not an adult, and they put you in foster homes, group homes. Awful. Awful, awful, awful. We'll also be here at the Warriors covering more extensively, because I'm up in arms. I am steamed, as some people would say. This foster care system must be blown up. This foster care system must be reimagined. I don't know who's going to do it. It does not work. It is a money-making catastrophe. We know that 63% of all sex trafficking victims, kids, have been in group homes, foster care. Again, warriors, it's a higher percentage. Stories are coming to me right and left about the abuse going on right here in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, our tri-state area. I know it's going on all over the country. We have to do better. We have to. We had, at last count, $9 billion was the budget for foster care from our government. These are our taxes going into this, a system that does not work, a system that is broken, a system that we should all be out in the streets screaming about, because the bottom line, it's about our wallet, our pocketbook. And we must, and I don't mean to be preachy, but, we all have to find this moral compass and realize these are all our children. We're paying taxes. So technically, you could almost say, we are parents to all these children, and the abuse going on. And I know it's easier when it's not in your own, circle, to just not think about it, just not talk about it, just not, go near it, because that goes the same for human trafficking. I understand it's dark, it's ugly, but the escalation and how easily the kids online are falling for things. You have to become a warrior. It's 2022. It's a new everything. Nothing is what it was 5 years ago. And things entering into the future are completely frightening. So you must take action. So I'm urging all of you right now, linswarriors.org, always. I'll be loading a lot of new content on there tomorrow because I'm going to my pink and white event in a little bit. And, warriors, I go and just talk about all of this nonstop. I want to make you aware, if you're in the New Jersey, New York area, if you feel like traveling out of New York, I will be in New Jersey on Sunday, May 22nd. Moms for Liberty has called upon me to come to their New Jersey chapter and make a presentation. So I'll be posting a little bit more about that starting tomorrow, but that date, mark your calendars, May 22nd, Sunday, 2 p.m. in the afternoon, and we'll be at a church and in Basking Ridge, New Jersey. But more details to come, certainly on the website, linswarriors.org, Facebook and Twitter. Moms for Liberty, 63,000 members strong across the United States and growing. We have to fight for our children because what do I always tell you? There is a war on for our children. Let's end up warriors because I noticed from my analytics, I could talk for 5 hours. People tend to tune in for, depends. If I talk 15 minutes, they tune in for 8 minutes. I talk 30 minutes, they tune in for 19 minutes. It's all over the place. So I guess I have to go with, people do have the attention span of a gnat, but this is good, valuable information. I dare say you might not be hearing anyplace else. We have to talk about what I did last night. The Warriors is partnered with Lifeway Network here in New York. Lifeway Network, 2 safe houses, one in the Bronx, one in Queens. 100% success rate for victims, survivors of human trafficking, sexual exploitation. Although small, Lifeway Network, 14 beds. We want to expand upon that. We want to grow it, increase more safe houses, not only in New York State, across the country. Lifeway works. They asked me to speak. I was honored, the executive director, Marion Kendall, last night at the event. Beautiful university club here in the city. So good. I mean, I started my little speech with, it's so good to see all your beautiful faces, be out in public, eye contact. It was overwhelming, to be able to shake a hand. It really was. And Lifeway works, and the Warriors is partnered with Lifeway because they do the job, boots on the ground, compassion and passion. And I met some wonderful survivor women. And you just, you put your hand on their shoulder. You just say, good job. You encourage them. And that's all. That's all it takes to lift their spirits and make them feel like a valuable human being. But Lifeway, and they agree with the Warriors, the key components to all of this, education and raising awareness. Again, on a daily basis, somebody says to me, that doesn't happen here in New York City. Of course it happens. It happens in every town, city, state across the United States. Rural areas, all the time. As a matter of fact, I was talking with Dr. Ann Ritchie, who is our advisory council member of the Warriors today, because we're cooking up a lot of mental health initiatives and things of that nature. She's a pediatric trauma emergency doctor who has dealt extensively with human trafficking victims coming through the emergency room doors. And she reported to me that she's getting reports that the girls at age 11 in the most rural areas of our country, because of this normalization, this sexualization of our children, and I realize I'm digressing, Warriors, but I'll get back to last night in a second. It is so poor, poorer than anything we can imagine. By the age of 11, they are ready to leave, and they will leave 1, 2, 3 with a trafficker. They just want out. They'll get in a car with anybody. It's becoming a tremendous problem, not being discussed as usual. And specifically, she was reporting from Tennessee and West Virginia, 11 years old, not even 15, 16, which is no better, but I'm just saying 11 years old, that's a baby, that's somebody's child. What's going to happen to them? So we've got to get a handle on this. But let's get back to last night. It was empowering. It was engaging. And all I have to offer, and the reason I was asked to speak by the executive director, Marion Kendall, is because she sees my passion. She sees my energy. She sees the way I treat survivors, prostitutes, all people. That is what is needed also in this movement, because I know we're connected to a lot of organizations and coalitions, the warriors. I call it checking boxes, 9-to-5ers. Where's the passion? Where's the enthusiasm? You remember, enthusiasm is infectious in my book, and negativity is infectious also. I know it's dark and overwhelming, but if you can't handle it, you got to get out of this, because it is tough. You should not be working in this movement to help eradicate all of these crimes. We can't be like that. We have to be constant educators, constant cheerleaders, constant open our hearts. I've been meeting wonderful, wonderful people. I met a wonderful Bishop Cruz from Newark, New Jersey, and we shared, as being a girl from Jersey a while back, some wonderful tales about Jersey. And he was so happy, and I was happy to just make that kind of small talk. Father Bob was our MC, and followed by the incredible, and I actually adore her, creative designer, fashion designer, Stacy Bendett, the founder of the fashion label Alice and Olivier. Why we honored Stacy Bendett with the Freedom Award is because Stacy's company employs women in human trafficking, in sexual exploitation. She works very hard to give them jobs, opportunity. She also, and it happened right before COVID, she did a wonderful event about human trafficking, and then COVID hit right after. Fashions, stop human trafficking, all kinds of hashtags, share the mic now, specifically to empower Black women she saw as victims not being given a chance at all. So she's an amazing person. We need more women like that in the arts, in entertainment, even though I tend to stay away from entertainment. But to see her passion last night, and to see how she can feel their pain, and she's doing something, she's taking action, she's offering them jobs, economic empowerment, because you have to keep people out of this life. And what do they need? We all need money, right? Everybody needs money, including these victims, or else they'll slip right back into sex trafficking to make food money. It's that simple. So we'll be announcing so many more initiatives. I know a year from now, we're going to have so many things happening that I'm working on now that are not finalized yet. It's been so amazing because COVID has held us up, and now we're ready to go. And I just can't wait. So lifewaynetwork.org, read about it. The incredible work started by Sister Joan 15 years ago. We had a lovely gala celebration last night. It was just overall full of energy, and a beautiful silent auction. The work continues. It doesn't end because our gala was up yesterday. The work continues. Money's hard, tough to come by. You know this. Anything you can do is appreciated. Volunteering, donating, however you can lend a hand. Lifewaynetwork.org, and always Lynn's Warriors. I'm urging you, please support my work. I have so many great things I'm working on. I need, of course, to finance things in order to do this kind of work and build momentum and build movement, and have all of you come along with me. And let me end, Warriors, with, I don't know if you can see it, I have my pin on. It says New Yorkers for the Equality Model. Let me remind you that New York State is pushing for the full decriminalization of the sex trade, meaning you will have a brothel next door, meaning your child will be encouraged to become a sex worker. The age of, who knows, age of 12 at the rate we're going around here. It means that brothels legal, pimps legal, traffickers legal. We cannot have this. Go to our website, equalitymodelnewyork.org. Read about the opposing bill we have, Sex Trade Survivors Justice and Equality Act, bipartisan bill. I was up in Albany on Tuesday with a group of 25 other women visiting our New York legislators, talking about why our bill is superior. And you know what, Warriors? We had comprehensive packages outlining every single thing that our bill does. It helps the person trafficked out of the sex trade should they want. It offers them educational opportunities, a roof over their head, food, job training, medical and psychological help. And the opposing bill, because we put them side by side so we could put it, remember, people are visual, so put it in front of a senator, an assembly member. The other bill offers nothing. It offers the check mark goes full decriminalization of the sex trade, and then nothing, the Wild West. So if you want a brothel next door, I mean, have at it, because that's the direction New York State is going. Bear in mind, if you're not in New York State, they're using New York State as a model. They want to have this movement across the entire United States. They're already calling New York they would like it to be the sex tourism capital of the United States. So get ready, warriors. Be on the lookout. linswarriors.org. Always, I want you to review lifewaynetwork.org. Help where you can. Think about everything. And on a final note, each and every day, protect your children and go out and be a warrior.